Coming up on TekThing, DJI's Osmo Mobile. We got a hands-on review, Pixel phones, Google Home, Windows or Android for a new yoga book, and will the real uBlock Origin please stand up? All that and more coming up on TekThing. This episode of TekThing is brought to you by Cariibou VPS made easy from the people at ProxyByte, hosting for everyone and anything.
I'm Shannon Morse.
And I'm Patrick Norton.
And this is TekThing, where we have something useful in every single show.
Not today. That was so easy.
That was awesome.
Oh,
I was not expecting that.
No, we have useful stuff today. We should point out that you have already ordered your Pixel XL.
Can I tell you a secret though?
Yes.
So I was like, oh yeah, the Google thing's happening right now. I should watch it. So I started watching it and I was like, I'm waiting for them to announce it. Luckily,
Right.
They didn't wait too long to actually announce it into their progress of the presentation. But I immediately went to the website and I was like, I gotta find the link. Where's the link? And I found the link. It wasn't even on the homepage yet. And I was like, oh, I found the link. So I immediately ordered it and I had no clue what I was ordering. So then I went back to the page and I was like, I should probably check the specs. What are the specs on this thing? So all I knew was like how much memory I wanted inside of it and which color.
Oh
and what size it was. That's about it.
So Pixel, in case we haven't made it clear, is the new brand of Google phone. So meet the Pixel, which has a 5-inch screen, and somewhere around here is the Pixel. Well, actually, you know what? I am looking at the Pixel and the Pixel XL right there.
They both look exactly the same. One is just larger than the other. So one's 5 inches and the other one is 5.5 inches. Supposedly, so these do come with USB-C, which is great. Super excited about that. And they're supposed to charge in 15 minutes up to 7 hours of battery life.
That's the part that part of me was like, whoa! Yeah, they're basically
awesome.
saying 15 minutes of charging, 7 hours of battery life.
Yeah,
Over
this is why I'm so hardcore about USB-C. I'm like, yes, give me fast charging. It's
fast
amazing.
charging. Oh my goodness. Oh, and yes, there's a headphone jack.
Yes, there is.
Tons of power on tap, Snapdragon 821 quad-core CPU. It's interesting, two 2.15 gigahertz processors and two 1.6 gigahertz processors. That sounds so familiar.
Awesome.
4 gigabytes of LPDDR4 RAM.
Yes, that's up from their 3 gigs of RAM that's in the 6P currently. So that's a nice increase.
Which is vibrating the table. I was like, why is the table vibrating? Shh. Quiet little phone. Pixel imprint fingerprint sensor, and they're talking about 14 hours of LTE data use time.
Yeah, so
Android
not
N,
bad.
Unlimited Google Photos storage at full res. So they're not going to
like
res it down to store it.
So one thing that they are touting is the fact that you can do 4K video on the new phones, and you can also upload those in 4K to their unlimited Google Photos storage. So that does include videos as well. I like that they're including that at high res. That's a really, really nice thing to include.
Well, so there's nothing worse than realizing that you thought you had a backup of all your photos, but they're just compressed to snot.
Exactly.
Google's got the space.
The camera that's built in, it features a 12 megapixel sensor with large pixels and an f2.0 aperture for excellent low light performance. I'm looking forward to seeing how different that is from the other one, because that one's also 2.0 aperture. But the pixel density might not be the same. So
bigger pixels gather more light for better low light performance. Smart storage says it will automatically free up storage when needed. Big HDR focus on the camera.
Yeah.
You excited about the conversational Google Assistant?
Kind of. I usually turn those things off because I say the word Google so often that my phone's just like, what do you want? And I'm like, leave me alone. I don't need you right now. So I just usually like disable that unless I'm on the home screen, and that's the only place I use things like that.
Apparently you can also launch the home button. I thought it was interesting that they'll allow you to take a picture and ask like, who designed this? Who made this? I would be really curious to see how well that works. The new Duo video chat app, Allo's built in. The Duo video chat app, somebody pointed out, I think on Twitter somewhere, they're like, why? Why does it preview video from your caller before you answer your caller? That just sounds like chat roulette, but personal.
I guess it would just be so you can see exactly who's calling you before you answer.
In case somebody's like killed your friend, stolen their phone, and decides to duo chat with you?
I don't know. That's the only reason why I would use it, just to see who's calling first. Like easy to look at, but I guess you could get that from a name too, so.
One partner, Verizon, Google Play Store, what's the pricing look like?
So the 32 gig version, they only have 2 sizes for most of them. Yeah, so the 32 gig one is going to be $649 for the Pixel, and then $769 for the XL, the Pixel XL. And then they have a 128 gig, so they skipped from 32 all the way up to 128.
Big jump.
And that one's going to be $749 for the Pixel and $869 for the XL. And then they do have 3 different colors that you can choose from, and these totally sound like Doge dogs sounds.
You know what these sound like? These sound like 70s U.S. automotive colors
Doge.
from the 70s. Really blue,
really
very
blue.
Silver,
and quite black.
Quite black.
Very black. Or very silver, quite black, so Doge. And you can pre-order them now, as I did. They're supposed to ship around October 20th. Of course, they might be a little backed up. I noticed that the wait times were increasing as today went on, so keep that in mind. And I do have Project Fi currently with my 6P, so I'm going to be testing that with the new one too as soon as it comes in. Super excited.
Supposedly the Pixel is Project Fi compatible.
Supposedly. We shall see.
I want to go grab the camera bag you were testing, but I think you sent it back because all I could think of was like, look at the Daydream View.
Oh,
it reminds
it's so
me
cute.
of your camera bag. $79 on sale next month. Don't get crazy excited because this is $79 to turn the Pixel or some other Daydream VR compatible phone into a VR rig. And you can see where you basically like snap the phone in place.
Yes.
Foam fabric. You can see where there's like the hinged panel that you snap. You literally like pull a toggle over the phone to hold it in place.
The fabric does look like that bag I reviewed. That's funny.
This is either going to be really fantastic or it's going to stretch over time and terrible things will happen.
So does it fire up an app when you stick it in there?
Yeah, NFC basically fires up the Daydream when you plug the phone in. And then there's the Daydream controller, which is super simple. One menu button, trackpad on the end, and internal sensors to detect motion.
Very cool.
And a game tie-in with fantastic beasts and where to find them.
Yay!
Not that we're excited about that. Google also demoed Street View and YouTube 360 videos.
What else did they demo?
Amazon's Echo has competition, people.
Yeah, so they just came out with this thing called Google Home, which is it's such an obvious competitor to the Amazon Echo. So this thing is going to play music, play podcasts, play the radio from services like Google Play Music, Spotify, YouTube Music, Pandora, and TuneIn. Multiple Google Homes can play your music in multiple different rooms. So this is very similar to how Sonos connects several different Sonos speakers in different rooms, and then you can play the same music all over. You can also ask this thing for the weather. You can stick things on your shopping list just like the Echo can. Traffic, you can get finance information, sports reports, local business information. So
you can see where they, like, I don't know if we can pull those speakers up for a second, but you can see where they're obvious.
We can, yeah.
Yeah, it's when you take a look at this, it's like they point that it's like deep excursion speakers, which is a way of making a very tiny speaker have more bass, which is very much like the Sonos Model 1. This line started to creep me out. Quote, with your permission, Google Home will learn about you and get personal. Google Home can retrieve your flight information, set alarms and timers, and even tell you about the traffic on your way to work. So that, it sounded creepy at first. Like, what does that mean?
But at the same time, I'm like, well, Google's already giving me notifications about my flights. So it already knows that stuff from my Gmail.
That's what somebody was like, how come you're excited about Google Home but not about Amazon Echo? It's like, because Google already owns all of my personal information because of Gmail. Oh my goodness. And of course, it's supposed to do smart voice control for smart devices. Nest, Samsung, SmartThings, Philips, if then that. And there's a crazy, if you want to like, there's the giant chart, and if I pull up there it is, the Explore features, right? So, okay, we have mobile app, audio streaming, multi-room audio, music, news, podcast, radio.
Yay,
control
so
your home. Oh, wait, we just added in smart plugs and switch control, speaker and streaming control, thermostat control, TV streaming control. Let's add have fun on there, and it just keeps piling on the features.
So these are all the things that Google Home will be able to do.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, including Easter eggs. So they're telling you that terrible things are going to happen. And delight.
So I'm actually kind of curious if the high excursion speakers on this thing are going to be as good as the Sonos Play 1, which is the cheaper small Sonos that you can get.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm also highly amused at the fabric base on it. You can basically screw it off and put different colors on there.
I'm totally getting purple.
To match the room decor. Ships November 4th, Best Buy, Target, Walmart, and it looks like they're shipping November 8th if you are mail ordering them directly from the Google Play Store.
I'm gonna get mine late.
$129.
I guess we'll see. But there's more.
There's more.
There is.
Somewhere.
The Chromecast Ultra.
Look how happy that family is. They're happy because they have 4K to UHD and the Chromecast Ultra. Sorry, the picture made me laugh. Look, Chromecast 2 and audio have a sibling. They stay in the lineup. Ultra supports 4K. Google says it's 1.8 times faster than previous models, which if you are trying to do things and going nuts while you're waiting for your Chromecast to respond would be a compelling reason to upgrade. Built-in support for HDR and Dolby Vision, so it covers all of the 4K HDR technologies. That's smart.
Yes.
Ships in November for $69, and that's when Google Play, the store for the movies, will have the 4K movies and TV shows.
Ah, that's why it's so expensive.
I don't know. I jumped on a Twitter thread about that. Like, it's like twice as much. They got to encode all. They got to pay.
And it's 4K.
Yeah, I don't know. It's.
Well, let us know if
dongle.
you guys have ordered any of this cool new tech. We are definitely going to try and get all of these on the show for review for you guys, and let us know what you think. I'm super excited about them myself.
No, she's not.
I'm a Google fan girl.
I love that you bought the phone before you actually knew what the specs were. Commitment, people. Shannon is committed. Looking for a virtual private server? How about hosting for everyone and anything? Check out Cariibou.com. Whether you're rolling your own VPN, hosting websites, running a small school project, or a Minecraft server you're telling mom is for school, testing platforms before rolling out new services, our sponsors at Cariibou have got you covered. Amazingly fast SSD servers that are affordable to run, with plans that start for as little as $2.68 a month for a single CPU and 3 cents an hour to run, with a ton of OS options. Arc, ArcStrike, CentOS, CoreOS, Debian, Fedora, FreeBSD, Gentoo, OpenSUSE, Ubuntu. The crew at ProxyByte built Cariibou to be painless and easy. Just a few clicks and you'll have a fresh machine ready to roll in the US, Germany, or France, or Canada. Woo, curling! SSDs only 99.99% uptime guaranteed, free full disk encryption on demand by default for all services and your servers. Check out Cariibou.com. That's CARIIBOU.com. We want to thank them for their support of TekThing. From the people that brought you the DJI Phantom and all those other cool drones, it's now the smartest selfie stick ever made. Meet the DJI Osmo Mobile.
Yes, this is the DJI Osmo Mobile. Say hello.
Hello.
I should totally record this segment from the DJI Osmo Mobile.
$299.
$299.
Leveraging the technology built into the gimbals, I guess, on the drones?
Yes, exactly. It is. Basically, it's using the same kind of gimbal functionality. It's a really smart selfie stick. Other smartphone gimbals are currently on the market right now, which you've probably heard of. There's the original DJI Osmo that has a camera plus room for a smartphone that you can control it with, and that one is $600, so it's twice the price. There's also competition to the Osmo Mobile on Amazon currently, and I was able to play with some of the competition, and I'll put those links in the show notes if you're looking for different ones. But
I just want to set up your excitement here, because you have played with a whole bunch of gimbals.
I have.
And most of them have made you go delete expletive and then return them to Amazon. Is that a fair?
It's true.
Okay.
It's true. So this one I was very excited about, because I've been trying to get into vlogging more on my own personal channel to kind of introduce people to what I do outside of tech. And this is kind of a perfect example of something that somebody can use if they plan to do vlogging and things of that nature.
Well, I mean, you bring up vlogging, but the other thing is, if you find yourself recording videos and you're tired of the video being shaky because you are a human and your hands shake, or you don't hold things steady, you know, putting it on a device like this is going to fix that, or at least hopefully help that.
It absolutely does. So the Osmo Mobile will definitely take out a ton of that shake. It has Bluetooth BLE 4.0 connected into it so that you can connect it to your smartphone. And it weighs about 1.1 pounds total, and that's including a battery. The battery looks like this, so it's very proprietary, and you have to use a proprietary charging cable as well with it. But the battery will give you about 4 hours of use time, which is fine for smartphone recording. I haven't had to recharge my battery quite yet, and I've used it for 2 different vlogs, so pretty good. Either that says I'm awesome at vlogging, or it says that this thing lasts quite a long time.
Maybe you make very short vlogs.
So it's definitely made for iPhones. They use iPhones for all their tutorials online and everything, but you can use it with an Android. I am using it with my 6P, of course. The 6P does have a problem though. I noticed that it hits my volume button since it's right in the middle of the rocker, unless I put it in my case, and that gives it just a little bit of buffer room between the rubber bottom and the top of my case, so it doesn't power down on my smartphone or turn off the volume. To power it on, as soon as you power it on, I'll show you what it looks like. So I turn it off and it kind of falls into place. Yes, it is supposed to be stabilized, but my phone is slightly heavy because of the big camera over here. So I turn it back on and it stabilizes.
Nice.
It's like magic.
It's got this very creepy, not quite alive thing going on.
It is. It's a little creepy.
If you see me staring at it, it's every time I've seen this thing in the last couple weeks, I've just been like waiting. Well, you know,
it's weird.
Like
waiting for it to come to life and attack you with lasers. If you don't want to connect with Bluetooth, then you really don't have to connect with Bluetooth if you want to save your battery. Just use your favorite camera app and use a gimbal plus the joystick to move around. Now you'll notice on the back of here, there is a joystick. So if you watch the phone as I move it back and forth, it pans back and forth. You can also do that up and down. So there's down and back up.
There's the other button, like the record, not record button?
Yes, so there's the middle button, which is the record, and then this one, which will take pictures. And you need to have Bluetooth connected for both of those.
That makes sense.
If your phone ends up getting slightly off kilter for some reason, you can double click on the trigger and it'll right itself, which is really, really nice. Things that you cannot do with the Bluetooth, again, are just shooting and recording, basically, and that's about it. And then using the app, of course. Now, the app is called DJI Go. I have that open right now. It's free in iOS and the Play Store. The app is really awesome when it works, and only when it works. Unfortunately, the app crashes on the Nexus 6P when I try to do face tracking, which is an excellent use case scenario if you want to have this thing just sitting, for example, on this little
It's got a stand.
The stand is extra, by the way. It's about $10 extra. So if you want it to face track you, it will face track, and it does work. I was able to use this with the Note 5 very easily, and it actually tracked very well.
It's not
and it was fast. It's not, because if I turn it on with this Nexus 6P, it's going to crash.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that's a software update.
I hope it is. This is the newest version of the app, and everything else pretty much works with the application.
Right.
I was able to use time-lapse feature on here very well. That is really, really cool. And then again, the Note 5 worked just fine as far as face tracking goes. So with the Note 5, that is a confirmed compatible phone for DJI Osmo Mobile. So the Go app thinks that the phone is not on the gimbal whenever it's in the Note 5, and it stops stabilizing. But time-lapse, the face track, and the editing all work in the app, and some of those just don't work with my 6P.
This sounds like classic early release software.
It really is. Yeah, those are things that they need to update the software, and if the app worked great, then I'd be like, yes, everything is perfect, but everything is not perfect quite yet. So again, the time-lapse is very, very cool. Face tracking is awesome when it works, if you have a phone that it works with.
Will it actually like follow you as you walk around the room?
It will, yeah. Ooh. So if you try to run from it, it might turn red for a second and be like, where did you go? But as soon as you get back into its targeted viewpoint, it targets right back on you, and it centers you in the middle of the screen. It's really cool. Panorama is also very cool for handheld shots. So if you're using this handheld and you want to take a picture, for example, I'll show you the other side of the studio in a big panorama. You can set it right in the center, and I'm going to take a panorama just so I can show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is the panorama in action. And I can move it around a little bit. You're gonna screw up the stitching, man. So then it'll go ahead and create that photo, and I'll show it to you guys in edit so you can see what it looks like. I actually dropped this one. I had a few beers. You know, it kind of happens.
Oh,
it
people
still works fine.
Recording video while intoxicated?
Yeah, it still works fine though.
So it seems durable.
It seems very durable. So app problems aside, I really enjoyed being able to use this. I really like this thing as a podcaster and a vlogger. Time-lapse and panoramas are very cool, but they're kind of gimmicky for me because I don't need those personally. It's not something that I would use every day, but question?
I'm just wondering, have you started following the cats with this yet?
No, but I will. But for shooting video on my phone, I really needed a way to stabilize my shots because they were definitely shaky. $300 is a lot of money, but for a smartphone photographer, somebody who's taking this seriously, I think it's worth the money. And I was really, really happy with, taking this on the go with me. And there's my panorama shot. Yay! It finally processed. Woohoo! So. Yeah, it's very exciting for me. I really enjoyed using it, and it's something that I highly suggest for anybody else who is looking for a stabilizer for smartphone photography and videography.
So you're keeping this one?
Oh, I'm keeping it, yes. I bought it myself, so I'm definitely keeping it.
That is a big thumbs up, people.
Thumbs up. Kay Perry on Twitter tweets, Android versus Windows 10 for the Yoga Book. And why?
Okay, TLDR version, the hardware is pretty much the same for both Android and Windows. Android's probably more comfy working in Yoga Book's 4 GB of RAM, but I'd buy the Windows Home version because I'm living La Vida Windows at work, and I just don't feel like reinventing all my work tools and workflow to live La Vida Android.
Go Android!
That might not be the right decision for you, especially with a 10.1-inch, like 1.5 pound laptop. I want to be able to do the work things on any laptop I carry. I don't want to carry around 2 laptops. That's not probably, well, it's funny, right? Because we do a lot of video editing.
Yes, we do.
You could edit video on this, but if you haven't seen it, I mean, let's talk about this, right? They both have a quad-core Atom X5 CPU, runs up to 2.4 gigahertz, 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigabytes of storage. A micro SD card slot will give you an extra 128 gigabytes of storage. That beautiful 130-piece hinge. Both have a single nano SIM card for 2G, 3G, and 4G LTE. 8,500 milliamp hour battery. Lenovo says 15 hours on Android, 13 hours running Windows, and hey, they both have GPS built in. Love that.
Yes.
Lenovo's flavor of Android 6.0 can have up to 4 windows open at once, can use standard keyboard shortcuts. Lenovo says a Nougat upgrade is coming. Both have the same Halo touch-based keyboard, haptic feedback. The keys are designated by lights under a giant 10-inch touchpad. There it is. Both have the real pen stylus. That comes out of a partnership with Wacom. 2,048 levels of pressure. It'll work with a Windows app that supports Wacom's Intuos tablets. So, the real differences between the two. $499 with Android, $549 with Windows 10 Home 64-bit. Expect roughly 30% more battery life on Android. Android's probably more comfortable with 4 gigabytes of RAM. Artists can get their Wacom Windows Intuos thing on. And the big question for me is, are you an Android user?
Yeah.
And the other thing I was thinking about, like, why is there no Chrome OS version? I was just like,
I think I might have an idea or maybe an inkling why. My thought is because it turns out they're going to be merging Android and Chrome OS together into this new thing called Andromeda, which a lot of people are reporting on. And it seems like I don't know if they are doing this for the phones as well, but it seems like this is going to be happening for the Chromebook line and the tablets.
Interesting.
So this was just announced like last week, September 26th, as of recording. So we don't have a lot of news on this new merged operating system yet, but I'm going to guess that's why we don't see Chrome OS with this.
Yeah, I will say, Yoga Book, it's one of those things where you start playing with it and it's like, I want one.
Yeah, they're so pretty.
I wouldn't want to render video on it, but for 95% of what I do, when I break down the hours in the week, it would have more than enough power.
Yeah.
I am really curious. I've gotten about a half an hour with the keyboard. Lenovo says they've gotten people up to 150 words per minute typing on it in their labs.
Wow.
I would be really happy to get 70 words per minute. It is an adjustment period because it's a sheet of glass, basically, that you type on with lights from underneath it. The
you
haptic
don't have any of
feedback
that
is really
physical
good.
feedback that you would normally get
It
with
does
a real
haptic,
keyboard.
right? So it does a little vibratey stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not like punching a key down in a keyboard.
Yeah, it's not like memorizing the home row. Like, where is the home row?
But that's it, right? You have to figure out how to anchor yourself if you're a touch typist. If you're not a touch typist, it'll probably make no difference to the speed of your typing. Really, really hope we get one of these into review.
Me too.
Nice piece of hardware. Got a question you want us to answer? Curious to see us review something on TekThing? Got a tip or an idea to share with the crew? Fire them out to ask@tekthing.com, please. Or you can tweet @TekThing, @Snubs, or @Patrick Norton. And hey, if you want to be part of the crew that makes this show possible, we love you for that. Please contribute to the show at patreon.com/TekThing. Just $1 an episode will make a big difference. We are so close to getting our Patreon-only builds back online. We're posting our final main cabinet build this month, but we need to get back over our $2,500 per episode goal to get the monthly build video machine fired up permanently. Think PF-Sense routers, super cheap DIY set-top boxes, game machines, or hey, send us your idea to ask@TekThing.com. If you can't donate, we totally understand. Send in those emails, and hey, if you could spare a moment or two to give our video the thumbs up on YouTube, like our Facebook page, so much news there, or review TekThing on iTunes or on your favorite podcatcher, we would seriously appreciate it. It all helps. And thank you so much for supporting the show, no matter how you do it.
We got an email from David who said, okay, so watch the latest episode and you said dump AdBlock Plus and go to uBlock Original. On Chrome, I dumped AdBlock Plus and I went to Add Extension uBlock Original. It pops open a web page to sign up to register. So I did the sign up. Next page says to complete one of these 3 offers. Maybe you should try the software before you recommend it. I immediately dumped uBlock Original and I reinstalled AdBlock Plus. Guess what? No offers to complete. I just hate that I gave uBlock Original my email address so that they can now spam me. From David.
Oh boy. Okay, so David's one of many folks that contacted us. Look, I have been using uBlock Origin, the extension, for quite a long time. Unfortunately, after the AdBlock Plus story broke last week, somebody posted a fake app named uBlock Origin. Now, take a look at this Chrome search screen right here. This is the Play Store. Now, right about here was a uBlock Origin app. It had 0 reviews, but because it was listed as an app, it showed up before the extension. And a lot of people didn't go to the uBlock Origin extension. Basically, somebody scammed a fake app named uBlock Origin. So what you want is the extension by @Gorehill. That's the one we linked to in the show notes. And if you look at it in uBlock Origin, you'll notice it's uBlock Origin offered by Gorehill. And it's got over 8,600 5-star reviews. Very different experience, i.e. it is not crapware. Look, I'm really sorry this happened. For what that's worth to you. Google has since pulled the fake app, but it sucks that they let it in there in the first place. It's really frustrating. The iTunes App Store is pretty good about blocking fake apps. Google's Play Store, not so much. And they do a lot of clones and rip-offs and scammy stuff. A lot of stuff, like I remember there were 7 Flappy Birds clones that came out after Flappy Birds got really successful.
And once one of our episodes goes live, it's really, really hard to pull it and re-edit and just be like, warning, there's an app out there. So
well, I tweeted
really
out about
sorry.
it. I tried to make the information available, but the also is use the links in the show notes. I'm not guaranteeing we're going to be 1,000% correct, but we're going to try really hard. But also, take a look at what you're downloading and installing. If there's one that has 8,600 5-star reviews and one that has 0 reviews, you might want to question whether or not the 0 review one is the right one to install.
Always be skeptical.
Yeah.
Being skeptical online is a really, really good way to keep yourself from being phished.
And let me make it clear, we look at everything we review and recommend on the show. And if we haven't had a chance to see it ourselves or run it on our own personal machines, we will make that very clear.
And moving on, we also got a YouTube channel message from Red Zlotnick, who commented, love the show, but SATA 3.0 maxes out at 6.0 gigabits per second, not 600 gigabits per second. I think you meant to say 600 megabits per second, from Red Zlotnick.
Derp. I made a typing error on my part. And, I was only off by an order of magnitude, I hang my head in shame.
Oh, it's okay.
3rd generation SATA interfaces run with a native transfer rate of 6.0 gigabits per second. So I don't know where I got the 6 billion that I typed in there. I apologize.
It happens. We're humans.
No, we must not be human. We must be perfect.
It's true. I'm a Cylon.
And I'm really sorry about the uBlock Origin thing. It really sucks, man.
Yeah.
uBlock Origin, the legit one by @Gorehill, good stuff.
It's awesome. Yes. And remember, once in a while, put down your phone, step away from the screen, close the laptop, and do something analog. Like, I'm pretty sure I pimped this last year because I love it. Go to the Northern California Renaissance Fair, or the one of your choice. And I'll put in some videos so you can see my most recent trip. I vlogged it. It was super fun. And I'm going to make a vlog on my personal YouTube channel. Check it out.
Did you have mead or ale?
I had neither because I don't really like them. I had beer, lots and lots of beer.
Did you have like your own leather mug you carried around? Or
No,
like
I need to
mug?
get one of those actually,
get one of
and
those.
hang it off of my belt because I have a very special belt that I wear at the Ren Fairs now. I have a whole costume. I'm a dork.
But you're a happy dork.
I'm a happy dork.
You know, I married a Ren Fair person, I understand.
You did?
My wife
She-
used to
she-
babysit for some of the people
What?
who founded the Society for Creative Anachronism in Berkeley.
I did not know this.
Oh yeah.
Amazing.
Layers, people, I got layers. I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Shannon Morse.
We'll see you next week on TekThing.
Oh, I want to show you guys
edit
this
that
thing. I want to show you this. Okay, so this is face tracking. You choose a thingy, and then it's supposed to go green and highlight it. But mine goes, DJI Go has stopped. Open app again.
Oh, that's not
So I have to restart it. Yeah, it's so frustrating. I want to use face tracking so bad.
That's a feature.
But I wanted to show you that
Shannon
that actually
thing about
happens.
They meant that.
So
Notice, I have not been allowed to touch this.
Do you want to touch it?
Really?
Yeah. Here you go.
I thought you were like protecting it.
But I dropped it, so apparently it still works. Here, and you can hit record on it.
I was gonna hit the face tracking, but then I was like,
Oh yeah, it'll just die.
oh, weird. It wiggles when it goes on.
It wiggled.
It wiggles.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Yeah, I have a Bluetooth connected right now, so you can use the controls.
Oh, I get it. You turn it. You turn it. That is so weird. Oh, I like
Isn't
that.
cool? What?
Face cam. I'm gonna hand this back.